Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLA video. Folks, let's talk a little bit about the best combination of items, plus some of these brand new blessings that have been introduced into the game, whether they're mandatory or if they're skippable, and whether they're part of the new meta. Now, I've done some testing on my main account. I'm on my free-to-play account doing some of my dailies. So let's go over a few of these and give you guys the breakdown of what is worthwhile. Now, these are not as good as the previous ones. So let's just get that out of the way now. And the previous ones, what I'm referring to specifically, are the last batch of blessing stones that came out, including weapon resonance, finisher's touch, acrobat, etc. These were probably a lot better than the current ones. Now, which one out of all of these stand out? Ricochet would probably be the best one, to be quite honest with you, because if you do get it a mythical, you can improve your max MP up to a certain point. I believe it's like 6,600, 6,700-ish, and get yourself 10,000 additional attack, which is quite a bit, to be honest with you, but it also does make you sacrifice other things. So there is some good and some bad to take with this. I think the damage increase, if I recall, was like 2 to 3% more over some other things, but it's not enough to matter and to sacrifice other things. And in order to even to get to that point in FMP, you're going to have to mess around with a lot of different things, such as your gems, your gear, etc. So unfortunately, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, the only one I would recommend to even try if you were curious about if MP becomes a thing in the future would be Ricochet. Everything else currently doesn't have a place. I will say this, the ultimate judgment one, which does increase the ultimate skill damage by 70% and power gauge increase by 5%, may eventually play a role if ultimates ever get their shining light. So I'm not saying this one currently has it, but the following one may actually occur. So just to get that out of the way. Now, I do want to say one thing before I continue on, guys. The content creator season has ended. So these are the codes I'm currently still giving out. If you have extended and did not get those codes, you will receive them. I'll continue sending it out. But if you are someone who forgot to extend, you can no longer support right now. You guys can see we lost, I don't know, 3,000-ish members from the community here, which is unfortunate, but we're still second place. And then you guys can see the gray button is supported out now. You can't touch it, can't play with it, can't do anything with it. So you'll have to wait till the next season to re-support. Along the way, you may miss out some codes, but you know, hopefully that's not the case. I want to say a big shout out to my top 10 as usual, guys. All of the giveaways will be done on the Discord like we do every season. Number 1 gets $200. Top 100, somebody gets a chance to win at $150. And then anybody who's a supporter gets a chance at $100 every single season. We've passed it out. I always pay out. So thank you again for your support, guys. And if you forgot to extend, you'll be able to re-support again. All right, so blessing stones. Yeah, nothing really here that's going to make a massive difference in the way you play the game. Anything from a defensive perspective, honestly, life and motion might be the only one that's decent. If your HP is 51% or higher, your defense increases by 40. If your HP is 50% or lower, your healing received increases by 55. Not enough of a difference again. It'll make a little bit of difference if we get a better healer. But quite honestly, overall, there's just better defensive ones out there, right? And same with mutual support. Like in team fight modes, the team member healing increases by 30%. Like I don't see a purpose for this one yet. Again, these could be used in the future. The only one I'd say maybe that has some sort of leverage is Jinu's shields receive an increase in power by 25%. When the shield is active, his defense increases by an additional 50%. So this would be nice to have with other blessing stones like, where is it? Like life. This one, right? So that'd be a nice one to have. You get defense for 60 seconds, or the ones where you do basic attacks and it gives you a shield as well. So those are all decent ones you can combine. So I say that's probably the best defensive one is dual guard, and then the best offensive one right now is probably going to be Ricochet. Everything else essentially can be ignored, right? I know some of you all like to see the math and stuff. Next time I'll put the math together for you, but quite honestly, at the end of the day, I'm giving you the end results. Some people just don't care about the math anymore. We've done so much math in this game that some people just be like, Payne, does it work or does it not? All right, now let's talk about something else, because I know there's another topic that a lot of people have been asking me. Hey Payne, you've proved that you don't need A5 weapons or A5 units in order to beat content. Yes, that is true, guys. We did finish the hard mode this time around with an A3, an exceptional A3 I will add, which is the actual Radiru Clan's double-edged spear. Now, when this weapon came out, we did a lot of testing, and I did mention many times that this is the standout weapon between this and Inouye's Roar. A lot of people went with Inouye's Roar because it's a DPS weapon. You know, the reality is for the 90% of the time, supports will always win, right? Because especially on the Jinu side, because Jinu is got enough skills where he you know, with detonation and fire kick, for example, where majority of your damage is going to come from that. You just want to make sure that you amplify that damage as much as possible, and this will do the job, not Inoue's roar. So this is why the reason why I said this. Now, I've had completely bad luck, and then I was able to pull an A3 just out of my ass right before we did hard mode, and I was able to beat it. So yes, even with underpowered stuff, I was able to do it. That was an A7 fan and an A3 weapon. It is absolutely doable, but it comes down to the main thing. So if you're going to try to beat this, guys, this is what worked for me. I was underpowered. I was 100k underpowered specifically. I used the spear and the fan, and then I used specifically the two main skills, and I just make sure I timed everything correctly, and that was the fire kick and mythical, and that was detonation and mythical. If you have those, you're fine. You're fine. Now, of course, outside of that, you have to also take into account a couple of the things. Number one, I had mythical across the board with a couple plus ones that I had in there for more power, right? So the only plus one I had in this case was Reawakening. I could have had Pulverize as well, but I took Pulverize out and I put Boss Layer, and that actually did help. I do have a couple heroics here as well. You guys can see I used this heroic, and then I used that, or not that heroic, sorry, I used this heroic and I used this heroic. So if these were mythical, power scales up, right? More levels, etc., right? So this is important to note, but I didn't have those. I had those at heroic. So you can definitely do it at heroic. The main thing also I did do that's very, very important that many people will not do because they forget that this lesson was something I've taught from day one, is that if you go all strength, sometimes that is the key to this game. We went with 175 intelligence with 600 something strength, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I needed to push my power further to get 56,000. I could have got 60 even, but with this setup here, we had exactly 56,000 when everything went into strength, or 54,000, sorry, when everything went into strength, and that was enough to get the job done. I think at one point I had 60k with different gear. Let me see what the gear was. That wasn't this one. It was all my obsidian gear plus my this is my support gear, obviously. I had obsidian and curse, and I had 60k, and it wasn't enough. So this setup specifically worked really, really well. So you can see here, even with lower attack power, the proper skills and everything coming to play make a difference. So not only do you not need more attack and need an A5 weapon, but you just got to have the right combination of things. And I've been saying this is the setup I've been using all along with 2 infamy, 2 curse, and 4 expert, and it's done the job for me depending on what I'm using. In this case, expert worked really well with these two, only because of course the Redeemer Spirit does so much damage, and it does ramp up the amount of experts you get, which allows you then to amplify again the kick and the detonation. Another thing to note is using the skills correctly. Now, if we go back to Voltaire for a sec, right, we went into this fight, I think, with 3.14. So still like fairly underpowered, but the main thing was understanding how your skills work properly. So for those who are wondering what was the best method to get this done, it's understanding when to use the skills at the right time. So for example, using your detonation daggers up close rather than far away, that's a big one as well too. Okay, make sure you do that. Now, when it comes down to hunter mode, same thing applies, guys. If you don't have free run, honestly, I'm going to come out and say it again. Min is the GOAT. Min is the MVP. Min, again, allowed me to finish content without having the proper unit. So I used Mei Lin here for this one specifically. So it was Mei Lin, Surin, and Cha. And we were about 3 million power here. Or actually, we're 2.9 power on this one. We did it. And then here, I actually switched Mei Lin out and I put Min in, and it got the job done. I didn't need Thomas or Gun He. I did Surin, Min, and Cha. And again, it just shows why Min is the GOAT. Early access unit, guys. One that we've been using since day one. Poor man had his head bit off, and he's still coming out on top as one of the best units for support. Now, I put him in S still, just because there are better units if you have them. For example, Free Run is, of course, better for water, right? Isla's better for dark, etc. But if you don't have those units under your belt, Min will still get the job done. So make sure, guys, you do focus on getting him out of, like, getting him up if you can, if you don't have the other ones. Even for newer players, I still recommend Min, to be quite honest, just because he just is universally loved by every single team, whether you're dark, light, water, fire, wind, it doesn't matter. There are, again, specialists within each team that are better, but if you lack those specialists, it's not bad to have someone like Min around to get a finish. So yes, guys, it is absolutely possible to finish content without A5 to A10. It is absolutely possible to succeed in certain situations that seem impossible with the right setups and right gear and the right skills, but of course it makes it 10 times harder, right? I could have got top 1000. I've had an A5 spear easily, I think, but I don't have that, so we had to settle with what we had at the time to get further. So for those who are wondering, is this game still super pay to win heavy? I think my account has been a little bit less hardcore. I've been a lot more lenient about the way I play the game. I've been a lot less, stringent about what I'm doing every single week. Like for example, I missed 2 PODs last 2 weeks. Got it done this week, etc. Right? So I've been a lot less like I have to get this done, or I'm gonna miss out. I've been just again focusing on life and other things. And right now, the main thing to note is I'm still able to finish hard mode by putting enough effort to make sure that I have my gear, my skills, and everything else set up. So what it comes down to, guys, right now. Do you need the new blessings? Absolutely not. Don't worry about them. If you get them, great. Are there anything changing the meta? Nothing right now. Nothing changes the meta. The meta remains. Now, much of the content in Solo Leveling Arise is brought out early for future content, so don't think that doesn't mean in the future we may see some changes come down the line for you. We absolutely may. So that's something that you have to keep in the back of your mind always, guys, that when the devs release content, they don't necessarily release it for now. A lot of the times it is in fact released for future content. So what I'm saying now may not matter in a month or two, but as of right now, if you're looking to get Voltaire done, none of the new pieces of blessings are going to help you. Just focus on getting the right things done, the right setups, the right skills. And if you have the right weapon combination with the right mythical weapons or mythical skills and the right stats, you're good to go. Now, for those who are wondering what my stats are on Jinnu, just so you guys can see where we're standing here. Again, 54k attack. I only had 90% precision, close to it, like 89%. Crit was at a little bit higher than this. It was at 12k for this one. This was there. The defense pen was a little higher. So let me just kind of break it down for you guys exactly how it looked. It was like this here. I'm going to give you guys the exact breakdown. Okay, so you guys can see what it looked like when I completed this. So that was actually not there. That was the 20 here. This one crit hit rate, and it was this. So just so everyone can see the stats and kind of get a general idea of what I did, and I used defense pen, believe it or not, on this one. So this is actually what my stats look like. 56,000, that's what I was telling you guys earlier. We did 17k, which is a little overkill. 213, which again is a little overkill. You can go down to 200, but put more into damage increase, and my defense pen was at 33%. Now, I had 6 blessings on, though, to get it done, but I did still use an A3 and an A7. So best weapon combination right now, in my opinion, to get the job done. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. Don't forget to extend next time. If you did forget this time, you'll be able to re-support again. And I'm on vacation, folks, for the next 2 days, so I'm only going to bring out a few pieces of content between now and then. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.